As of today, Doge or DOGE has recovered $140 billion. They are slow walking it, and I'm told it is being done deliberately because they know where the excess fat is hidden and they don't want to do it all at once because of some of the pushback that is coming from the judiciary, which seems to be more ideologically bent rather than bent along the law. So this is something that the Trump administration is gaming it. There's also talk that Elon Musk may not be around for long. This has been known from the beginning. If he leaves sooner, that's still okay. The concept is going to move on because there are trillions of dollars that need to be recovered. This video will tell you where all the money is there, where all the fat has been identified, and it is critical that all these things be stopped at once because much of this is finding its way back into the United States because all these things were basically give-offs to very influential people in the deep state who in turn have been gaming the system for far too long. So here is the slide deck. A small request to all of you to please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go. Just how much mismanagement took place under the Biden administration. It's massive. Massive as in capital MASSIVE. As you see through these slides, you'll understand how much money has been salted away. All of that has to be stopped. That's the best they can do. They can do even better. They can recover some, but let's wait and first find out how much money was being abused. Here we go. 4.7 trillion in untraceable treasury payments, meaning the money was going out of treasury, but they were doing it without any access symbol codes, TAS. What happens is Congress is the one that decides how much money as a country the United States has to spend. And based on that, the treasury is supposed to act. And if the treasury doesn't know under which project the money has to be allotted, then basically it means that it is going out into the ether for anybody to gorge on it. Now, this is a huge number, 4.7 trillion, and these were actually optional during the Biden administration, which allowed this kind of wastage to happen. Now that needs to be cleaned out, and they have mandated now that every payment that the Department of Treasury does has to have a tax code along with it. This is mandatory. Now, Treasury Department under 𝗥𝗙 𝗲 has acknowledge this and they are moving ahead with this. So now it is mandatory. You cannot just like that give money from treasury. It is not my pop store or your pop store. Public backlash on social media reflected the anger at the lack of accountability on this. That's 4+ trillion. It is 2.7 trillion in improper Medicare, Medicaid payments. Many doctors treat patients under Medicare, Medicaid, and they get compensated for it. Now, if you have a patient with a history with, they need all these other things like support, dialysis, or, things that are recurring in nature, then there is scope for padding. Looks like this has been used as a ruse to really disperse money left, right, and center. 2.7 trillion since 2003. Many payments went to ineligible recipients, including individuals overseas. How can somebody living overseas be eligible for Medicare, Medicaid? A congressional hearing titled "The War on Waste" addressed these findings. Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt confirmed daily findings of fraud and waste. So this is another thing that spigot is also going to stop. You also know about USAID. I'm coming to that in one moment. Pentagon has lost track of 2.5 trillion. So you see the numbers adding up, right? By this time, you are close to 10 trillion. Pentagon failed its 7th consecutive audit and cannot account for 2.5 trillion in assets. Severe overpricing instances. In the 1988, when Clinton became the president for the first time, then he became president again in 1992. Then in 1988 election, Ross Perot was the third or the independent candidate, and he made his fortunes allegedly by selling $700 toilet seats to the US Army, Navy, anything. US Defense. Okay, they used to make fun of it. This is how Ross Perot became a billionaire in those days. Okay, now we are hearing that toilet seat covers were charged between $640 to $10,000, $4,000 washer, and $220 billion in spare parts. And look at the F-35 fighter program. The cost ballooned from 50 million to nearly 700 million per plane. In fact, the F-35, I'm hearing, is now cancelled completely. One warehouse allegedly containing 127 million in spare parts wasn't even listed on property records. The Pentagon didn't know it exists. So you have so many different places where waste has occurred, and all that needs to be collected back. And so is USAID. We know about that one, the amount of money that got wasted in USAID also. Let's take a quick look at what was the kind of fraud in Social Security and how it is being overhauled. SSA reports losses of over 100 million annually to direct deposit fraud. That means people don't know where the money is going to. New ID verification rules from March 31st require in-person office visits for many changes. There is a Social Security office in your neighborhood, almost everywhere across the country. You just have to make an in-person appointment and then go there, perhaps give have your picture taken and so on and so forth to get the change done. SSA is also closing 47 field offices as part of federal downsizing plan. So 47 field offices are going to be closed. Labor unions filed lawsuits to block DOJ's access to Social Security data. And on April 7, 2025, the Fourth Circuit Court upheld the ban, citing ongoing privacy concerns. But I'm also hearing that some amount of access has been given. They can't stop this. The president can order that. Department of Education spending on gender ideology completely cut. All this critical race theory, done, dusted. Critical caste theory, done, dusted. All up in smokes. No more money. None of these, the fat ladies will not get any more money. Sorry to say this. Over 1 billion was allocated to DEI and gender-related programs in public education. That 1 billion is no longer going to be available. Much of that has been also cancelled, I heard. 128 million went to gender ideology grants and curriculum support. You know why Elon Musk is so vehemently against DEI? Because it is believed that one of his sons changed gender. I mean, you look it up on news, guys. I could be wrong about this, but I think there's something like that happened. Either him or some other billionaire. It's really sad what has happened. This stuff has to be completely, fixed in a right way. And, people are trying to make exceptions the rule. That's where the problem is. Anyway, this is my personal opinion. 336 million in contracts were later cancelled by the Biden administration. 600 million in teacher training grants containing gender content was also cut. So many of you asked me this question. If the Department of Education is being wound up by the federal government, then how do people like, for example, children with special needs get their funding? Education becomes a state subject. So basically the state has to find the funding. It won't be the center. This was a center program that was thrust on United States. That needs to change, and that is being changed. This is definitely something that's good for the country. A lot of abuse and misuse has happened, and that again needs to be stopped. So you have at least 10 trillion identified as waste, and that needs to go out. And you see how this 36 trillion deficit will start coming down, because once you start taking some big ones out, a lot of other things start falling in place. This is how the thinking is going in the current administration. There are going to be many other things that are going to come down the pipeline. It would not be proper of me to mention it now, but I know a lot of things are in the works. They are not going to give even breathing room for the entrenched fat cats to do anything about it. What do these revelations show? They reveal that there is systemic fraud, and these span healthcare, defense, and education and social services, and all of these need to be addressed. This wasn't incompetence, it was a fraud, blatant, systemic, and defended by the left. By the way, the whole data originated from a tweet that Baron Trump put out, and I have given that link also as part of the reference links. Do go through that stuff as well as the other links to get a better perspective of what we are talking about. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.